A very good evening to you all and welcome to A Date with a Dinner Set, programme 315 on August the 2nd. We are in August. Amazing, isn't it? And it's still hot. It's been incredibly hot this way today. It's about 29 or 30. I think it's going to be at 34 tomorrow. Anyway, you are most welcome. And I hope this finds you well. I know at least one person listening tonight has a headache. So obviously everything will be quiet. Triple P this evening. But yeah, it's been another hot week, hasn't it? And obviously it's been very sad to see all the fires, not only in this country but indeed in Europe as well. So our opening music this evening, as many of you have identified, was the iconic theme music to the iconic TV series The Goodies. Good evening, Maria. How wonderful to see you. Yeah, so The Goodies from 1970. And not for me to say, brother. Not for me to say. Yeah, The Goodies. 69 episodes, apparently, spread over 12 years. And I think one of the reasons that one tends to forget that, those of us of a certain age that remember it in the first place, is that they have never been repeated on BBC owing to some sort of hissy fit going on by the BBC. They never got repeated. Good evening, Janet. How lovely to see you. But of course, the reason for playing that bit of music was because we lost Bill Oddie this week. Bill Oddie, one of the goodies, those of us of that generation, but latterly, of course, a conservationist and TV presenter. Very talented man all round. He composed that theme to The Goodies. He was quite a musician, actually, guitarist, saxophonist and drummer. And all that on top of a first-class honours in English literature from Cambridge. That's where he met the other goodies in the Cambridge Footlights. And after The Goodies came to an end in, I think, 1982, that's when he started to pursue his lifelong love of bird watching and nature and conservationism. So that's why we had that bit of groovy music as our opening one this evening. So as you can see, America has gone. Well, the decorations have gone. In fact, about 20 minutes ago, there was still some America left, because having taken down the physical decorations, I'd forgotten that we had a virtual American flag flying, and it was only when I turned the camera on that it was still there. It's in the background. We can call it up if we ever need to again. Anyway, so we're back to, I was going to say we're back to a normal program now, but that doesn't really exist, does it? But it's been interesting to play solely things from the Great American Songbook. And this evening, nothing I'm going to play is from the Great American Songbook. But it'll be interesting how quickly it all comes back, flooding in. So yeah, we have our usual mixture of 6 pieces this evening. Quite a few very well-known ones. And in fact, 3 UK top 10 hits, a number 7, a number 4 and a number 2 amongst them. From the past, you understand. But hopefully there'll be something for everyone. That's what we always try and do a mixture of things on A Date with a Dinner Set, so that there's always something for somebody to listen to. So I'll have a sip of some Coke. Now I've got some. And then we'll launch into the show. If you're with us live, then as always, if you want to, and you're in the chat room, do chat away about the songs for composers, for context, what you're eating, what you've been doing, the weather, all that sort of thing. Good evening, Martin. And hello, Jeannie, for a second time today. How lovely to see you. Isn't it annoying when you know it? When you know it, all you people. It's one of those sort of earworms, isn't it, that is quite well known, except in name, it would seem. But one of those people is very close. Well, so close, but they're correct, Kate. It is indeed from the film musical Bugsy Malone, starring Jodie Foster and Scott Baio. And quite a groundbreaking film. And I'll put you out of your misery. The title of it was Bad Guys. Oh, yes. There they are, the bad guys. The bad guys of Fat Sam's gang. If you don't know the story, it's basically just a light-hearted sort of romp of sort of fight between Fat Sam's gang and Dandy Dan's gang. And in that film, all the actors are children. That's what makes it revolutionary as a musical film. And these are the people that created it. Paul Williams, the music, and Alan Parker, who conceived the idea and indeed wrote the screenplay. Paul Williams, incidentally, wrote a couple of the Carpenters songs. Still very much with us. So that is actually 50 years old. 50 years old last week. It had its 50th anniversary, and a lot of the cast got together to reminisce about what a great time they had making it. And since then it's been turned into a stage musical, and I have to say, of all the shows that I've ever musically directed, that was the most bananas and bonkers one, because just anything went, and the whole band ended up getting totally soaked and covered in whipped cream and water and stuff. It was absolutely crazy, but tremendous fun. So Bad Guys from Bugsy Malone was our opening one, and that got me thinking. Actually, I've got a bit more time in August. It's my quietest month musically, because none of the three choirs that I play for have any rehearsals in August, so I get a lot of time to think and plan, which is nice. And I've been thinking a lot about things that have their anniversaries this year, so you can expect some other things to come cropping up in August and indeed September. Anyway, that was our opening one this evening. Something quite a bit calmer now. I think we need that. Janet, we're going to have to talk about that tortoise. I'm staring at that tortoise and I'm wanting to know all about it. Absolutely, brother. It was a film musical, and filmed in this country. And the other interesting and slightly weird and off-putting thing, even though all the actors were children aged between sort of 10 and 15, all their singing voices were dubbed by adults, which the director actually regretted afterwards, because it's a very odd effect if you're looking at somebody who's very obviously an early teen and his great mature adult voice is coming out. But it's a great film, lots and lots of fun. Here's something calmer. know what you mean, brother. Yeah, very similar vintage. Very similar vintage, actually. And yeah, Mancini in his sort of cinematic mode. But as the rest of you said, it was indeed Stranger on the Shore. Stranger on the Shore, as composed by the wonderful Mr. Acker Bilk. And interestingly, that wasn't its original title. It was actually called Jenny originally, because he wrote it as a clarinet piece for his young daughter who was learning the clarinet. And the reason it got the title Stranger on the Shore is that there was a BBC series, I don't know what sort of series it was, documentary I think, in 1961 called Stranger on the Shore, and they were looking for some music and they came across this wonderful bit of music, so they asked Acker Bilk if he could rename the piece Stranger on the Shore, and the rest is history, so to speak. It had some words added to it and became a hit for Andy Williams amongst other people. In the UK it was number 2, and it stayed on the UK charts for some 55 weeks. Such was its popularity. So Stranger on the Shore by Acker Bilk, who was a very keen jazz player, but one of those people that really got boxed into that Stranger on the Shore sort of title. Anyway, it's a great piece and it's very, very soothing, so I hope you enjoyed that one. As always, do press the thumbs up button if you would like to show that you like what you're listening and seeing. Okay, something else. Maria, I thought you were talking to me, baby. You're the best. Yeah, classic, isn't it? Absolute classic, that one. So, yes, indeed. The the wonderful theme to A Spy Who Loved Me. Ros, I didn't know that. Why have you been my auntie all my life and I didn't know that little factoid? It's not a little factoid, it's quite a big factoid, really, isn't it? That you met the suave and rather tall, debonair Mr. Moore. Fantastic. I absolutely love that James Bond theme. And composed by the wonderful Mr. Marvin Hamlisch. In fact, he wrote, of course, not only that amazing theme, Nobody Does It Better, in 1977, the date on the tip of your tongues, but of course he wrote the whole soundtrack. And the reason he wrote the soundtrack is John Barry was not available for that film. Owing, it says in the great Wikipedia in the sky, owing to tax reasons, which I can only assume meant that it was one of the years that he dodged away to Switzerland, so he wasn't able to work in the UK. But all the better that Marvin Hamlisch got to compose that epic score, and especially that theme. That theme, Nobody Does It Better. Whatever sort of list you look up of all the James Bond themes and bits of music, some 24, 25 in the canon, that one is always in the top 4, whichever list you go to. And the reason we had that one this evening, as I was reading about its wonderful singer, Carly Simon. And Carly Simon has got a new album coming out on August the 14th. But the relatively shocking thing, I was quite shocked, she's 83, isn't that amazing? And yeah, she's not very well at the moment, but fantastic. She's got a new album coming out. And yeah, so there we go. Nobody Does It Better by Marvin Hamlisch, with wonderful lyrics by his then girlfriend Carol Bayer Sager. I'm just reading what you're writing. Good heavens. We are in honoured company. You are all such wonderful people, aren't you? That's amazing, Maria. Gosh. A lot of goshes this evening. Right. Oh, that was number 7 in the UK charts, by the way. On to our next one. Yes, indeed. As Hannah said, the title of that is Wives and Lovers, and it's from 1963 by the wonderful Mr. Burt Bacharach. In happier times with his long-time writing partner Hal David, the lyricist. It's such a shame that it all went wrong at the end of the 60s, and they, went about 25, 30 years without speaking to each other. Unfortunately, they did. Before they both passed away, they sort of made up a little bit. Not quite sure really what went on. Anyway, Wives and Lovers is what that was, and I've always wondered about that wonderful jazz waltz, where it came from. And it's got quite a complicated history. By the way, it was Jack Jones that made it very famous. He had quite a unique voice, and that one really made his career. But it was written to promote a film called Wives and Lovers, which sort of looks like that. And you'll see at the bottom it says composed and conducted by Lynn Murray. Well, he was a very prolific Hollywood composer. But The Wives and Lovers by Burt Bacharach has absolutely nothing to do with the film. But Burt Bacharach and Hal David were asked to write a song to promote the film. So this happened quite a lot in the 60s, apparently. But the actual song that you just heard, a cover of, doesn't appear in the film at all. And I think that's relatively interesting. Obviously, everyone was happy. Burt and Hal were happy. They got their money in one of their many hits. And Lynn Murray, as the composer of that film, he got his money. So as it's been one of those weeks when I've had a chance to do some listening, I did have a listen to the soundtrack by Lynn Murray of the film Wives and Lovers. It's fantastic. It really is. It's a sort of mixture of New York style jazz and sort of MGM cartoon. It's really good stuff. Just shows you, doesn't it? Absolutely fascinating how these things happen. If you've happened upon this and you don't know what it is and you'd like to, please do consider subscribing to YouTube GG the Piano Man. We would love to have you as part of our YouTube community. Yes, I was about to make that point actually, that the promotional music, well, it's certainly better than the film. I've read the reviews of the film and it's rubbish, but the soundtrack's quite fun actually. Anyway, something very, 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 very famous as a piece, and a few factoids about that afterwards. Yes, to all of that. Feelings indeed, from 1974. A very famous international song composed and performed by Maurice Albert. Still very much with us. He's a Brazilian singer. I was quite surprised how young he was, actually. He is 75 years old and currently lives with his family in Italy. I say composed and sung by Maurice Albert. There was quite a famous court case about that song because he was accused of plagiarism by a French composer called Louis Gastet in 1957, I think. And the French composer won the court case. And so after that court case, which I think was in the 1980s, the song Feelings is now attributed to two people. It's attributed to Maurice Albert, who sang it and thought he'd written it, and also Louis Gastet, who actually has 88% of it attributed to him. That's quite a lot, isn't it, really? It's mainly Louis' song. It's a great song now, isn't it? Number 4 on the UK chart and a big international hit. It's one of those sort of cheeky, cheesy bits of lounge music. Everyone seems to know elevator music. Oddly, I never play it at the hotel, ever. I did at lunchtime because I sort of have a sneaky practice of most of the things I'm going to play at the hotel. And as I played it, I thought, I just hope no one starts singing, joining in, because it wouldn't be good, would it? Wouldn't be good at all. Now look, before we launch into our final song, you wouldn't forgive me if I didn't tell you that today is National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. I know what you're thinking. Hang on, a few weeks ago, didn't the Americans celebrate National Ice Cream Day? Yes, indeed they did. Well, today they're celebrating National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. And whatever variety you like, be it there with a sort of spongy chocolate things, or the crispy wafers, or full-blown cookies. 1900, it is believed, in New York was where the first ice cream sandwich was sold for the princely sum of 1 cent. If only they were 1 cent today. But you can, of course, obviously buy them ready done. But brother, you'll remember our Father, who art in heaven, we hope, was an expert at making a brick of ice cream. Remember those bricks of ice cream? Making about 400 of those ice cream sandwiches to feed the extended family. Anyway, that's what that is today. So there you go. We'll have that one during our final song. So I hope you enjoy our final bit of music this evening. indeed, from Disney Hercules from 1997. That was Go the Distance, and composed by the wonderful team of Alan Menken and David Zippel on the lyrics. And why did I include that? There was a good reason. Oh yes, because I was reading the West End show version of that is coming to an end in September. You know, I might treat myself if I can get a ticket. I do fancy going and seeing that. I think it's a really good story and a good set of songs by the wonderful Alan Menken. Happy birthday for yesterday. Gosh. Amazing. Always lovely old ladies in my chat room. Fantastic. Look, that does... so rude. Does bring us to the end of programme 315 here on A Date with a Dinner Set. I hope you have enjoyed our selection this evening. As always, it has been my pleasure to prepare and to play for you. The best of all is when you chat away in my chat room. It's always lovely to see you. If you're watching on the catch-up, I hope you can make sense of all the nonsense coming out of my mouth and you enjoy the music. Do take very good care of yourselves in the week that is to come, and I look forward to the great pleasure of playing for you next week. All the very best and good night.